I'm here at Hot Springs Animal Services, and most of you know that the shelter is located on Davidson Drive off of Shady Grove Road. And with me is Sergeant Chris Lackey. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You are new at the helm of Animal Services, but you are not new to the department at all, are you?
That is correct. It's been a long time. I started my career with the city of Hot Springs when I was just right out of high school. I was 19. And transferred to Davidson Drive from our old shelter when it was on Kimry Lane, if many of you remember that. And I was here for a little over 5 years, and decided that I wanted to better my career, and I applied with the police department and have been with Hot Springs Police Department for 23 years. And approximately 5 years ago, the police department took over Animal Services. So in August, I had the opportunity to come back home, so to speak, and it was a great choice.
How's it been since you've come back here?
It's been wonderful. I work with a great group of ladies and men. They know what they're doing out here, and so they require very little supervision, and they do a wonderful job with animals.
Well, Hot Springs Animal Services has always had a reputation of being a leader in the state of Arkansas and beyond for professionalism, for education about pet care, and just for best practices. So we already enjoy an excellent reputation, don't we?
We do, and I have to, don't know the proper terminology, but John Seals he started that, and it's carried over from him forward.
Yes, when I came on board with the city, John Seals was the Animal Services Director, and I remember you working here at Animal Services, and you made quite an impression as well. Excellent customer service, I might add.
Well, I've learned a lot.
Yes, and I'm sure your time with the police department has also been very helpful here.
Yes, it has. Learning how to field complaints and be professional about it as well.
Mm-hmm. I do notice a change, though. There's a feeling of excitement in the air when you come to the shelter. For one reason, all of the events you've been holding. What is going on?
Well, we are about adopting animals out, about finding homes for these precious creatures. We've had rabies drives because we are about health and safety also. So we've had we've had 2 last year, and in those 2 rabies drives we've had, we have given 724 rabies vaccinations.
That's an amazing number.
It is. That's a great turnout. We're very pleased with those turnouts, and we are looking in 2019 of having 2 more. It's very important, and for the health and safety of Garland County.
Do you think that it in turn will affect the number of rabies cases that we have here? Because they don't seem to be on the rise.
We have not had any cases of canine rabies. We've had some, I don't know the exact numbers. I think it's 4 skunks and a bat that we've had this past year in 2018. But it does prohibit that from happening in the canines as well.
Excellent. So the events you've been having are not just for rabies shots, right?
No, they're not. We have adoption events. We want to find these animals homes. That's our main focus here. Even though we do have to euthanize, that's not the fun part of the job, but it's a necessity sometime. So we held an adoption event this past Friday night, our first annual Home for the Holidays. It was very much a success. We adopted 15 animals that night, and then 6 during the day in our business hours. So a total of 21 animals. And Garland County Sheriff's Department partnered with us with their spay and neuter vouchers. So we were able to give out 10 of those vouchers to help with spay and neutering. And it was just a really, really positive, great event we had. So there will most definitely be a second annual Home for the Holidays, along with, we're going to try to have a spring adoption event also.
Excellent. Well, although this segment will air after the holidays, I think you did a great job of impressing upon the public that a pet is not just a Christmas gift, but a lifelong one. And
Yes.
so a lot of education went along with the adoption itself.
I hope so. The people want to get Christmas puppies and Christmas kittens, and they do grow up, and they're kind of like family members, and it's important that they remain a part of that family for forever.
And tell us a little bit, Chris, about it's a relatively recent partnership with Garland County where they have these free, and we're talking free, spay and neuter vouchers. That's huge for existing pet owners, isn't it?
It is. I don't know the exact price. Different veterinarians charge different prices with spaying and neutering. I know currently when an animal is adopted from Hot Springs Animal Services, it's $55 for a dog and it's $35 for a cat. Now the vets charge more than that, so we just we charge less to the adoptees because we want these animals to get home. So we do absorb some of that cost. But the spay neuter vouchers are for Garland County residents, not just city residents, not just county residents, but for both. And they're $50 spay neuter vouchers, which take a big chunk out of the cost of spaying and neutering. And we definitely want to get that education out there and that would be fine if everybody in Garland County or Hot Springs got their animals spayed or neutered and there wasn't any stray pets in Garland County. That would be okay with me.
That would be a wonderful world, wouldn't it?
It would be great.
Yes, and they have quite a few of these vouchers, so they'll be continuing to
They
give
do.
them out.
They're going
right?
to have them all, from, well, I don't know how long, but as long as it's a voluntary, I believe it's a voluntary box that you check on personal property taxes if you want to donate to that cause. And so Garland County has figured out a way to give that money back to the community.
What a great partnership with the city.
It is
to
great.
get those into the hands of people who need them most.
Yes, and it helps a lot.
You've described a little bit about the adoption process. When someone comes in and is interested in a pet, what happens from there?
When someone comes to the shelter and they go to the back and they find the pet of their choice, either the pet adopts them or they adopt a pet, happens both ways. Then they, of course, there's paperwork to be filled out, waivers and that sort of thing for their health. Unfortunately, we cannot guarantee the health of an animal when it comes in. We do everything in our power to help with disease. The puppies get a 4-in-1 shot to help with parvo and distemper, and we do that for every puppy or dog that goes out of here. They are microchipped. It's about the size of a piece of rice that goes behind the neck, and then we can, like if it gets lost or goes to the vet or somebody picks it up, we can scan that and find out who the owner is. Very valuable tool for pet relocation back to the owner. And a rabies shot. Covers that as well as a spay neuter. It's $55 as I said for dogs, and then the same thing for cats, which is $35.
And that pretty much takes care of the pet's needs as they
Yes,
walk out the door.
It does. We hope that they get the other things that they need as far as involved with pet care, which is heartworms and worms and that sort of thing that pets get. But
Yes.
the main thing we require is spaying and neutering and a rabies shot.
As we wrap up the segment, we are in the winter months, so would you want to share any tips for winter pet care?
Yes. We get a lot of calls and a lot of complaints from people that drive by houses, whatever, and they see a dog chained outside with no shelter. It's not against the law. It's to chain an animal up, but they have to be able to turn around, sit down, move around a little bit. So a short chain will not get it. And shelter is the main thing. In these winter months, it's cold. A cardboard box gets wet. So if you have a cardboard box out there, like a refrigerator box, I'm thinking that's going to suffice as shelter. It doesn't. dog houses, you can find them all different materials and shapes and sizes, and they're relatively inexpensive. So a dog house that your dog can get in, out of the elements, and some straw, especially in the winter months. A bale of straw at the co-op is not very expensive, and you can get that and put inside the house, which makes a lot of heat, for the animal, and on the outside of it. So that's the main thing is shelter. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And it's kind of like a pet. I mean, you can't make them get in the doghouse, but at least they need to have one available.
And speaking of water, if it freezes over, your pet doesn't have anything to drink, so
That's
needs
correct.
to stay at least warm enough to not turn to ice.
Yes, and keep an eye on
Yeah.
their water when it's below 32 degrees, because it will freeze, and they don't have anything. They'll try to get what they can get, but it's important to monitor the water situation too. And of course, nice warm food makes energy too, and keeps them warm.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing some details. And we're glad that things are going so well at Animal Services, particularly the record numbers of adoptions that you're experiencing.
That makes me very happy. It does. It just it made all of us happy, and when the cages are empty after those adoptions, it's a great thing to see.
Yes. So check out the Animal Services page on Facebook. It is a very active one. You'll find all the events there. So
Yes.
City of Hot Springs Animal Services, I believe,
correct.
is where you can find the animal shelter on Facebook. You can also check out the website page under cityhs.net. And the phone number is 262-2091, I
That is
believe.
correct, yes. And we're at 319 Davidson Drive, which is off of Shady Grove Road. If anybody goes to the compost, we are right past the compost on the left.
So come see Chris, come see the rest of the staff, and you will find a very friendly and professional group of people here.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Chris. And next week we'll bring you more city news.